Hello, and welcome to the Wayfaring Panda. I'm Annette. Today I'll be doing a scrapbook layout, and I'll be using some beach pictures from my vacation last summer, and that's from Hampton Beach. And I'll also be using a scrapbook sketch to go by. And this sketch I'm using is from Misty Murphy, and she has a website called Crafty Soup where you can get other sketches from her, and I'll put a link in the description below. This video is part of a hop called Mix It Up Monday. It's a social media hop where we share projects that mix it up. We're mixing up a traditional scrapbook layout with some different types of media such as texture paste, foil, paint, ink, spray, gesso, thread. In fact, the sky's the limit. This hop is a collaboration between Anna from Peace Craft Love and Kimberly from I'd Rather Be Scrapbooking. And it's on YouTube, but anyone is welcome to play along. We post the inspiration sketch on the last Monday of the month, and then the hop takes place on the second Monday of the month. I'm going to be using mixed media on this sketch, so I'm using mixed media paper, and I've already used some low-tech tape, and this is purple tape, to mask off my triangles that's in the sketch and also around the borders because I'm going to be doing some splattering and I don't want the splatters to go where I'm going to do some other colors of ink. Now the other two triangles that's up and above and below where I'm inking, I just left those open because I'll be covering those up with paper, so as splatters get there it won't matter. So I'm just using my blending brush to blend on some brown distress ink, and this one is called Tea Dye. And then I'm going to splatter on some darker brown distress ink, which is called Vintage Photo. And I have discovered that using a fan brush really helps me to splatter where I get more of a even coverage. I had seen another crafter doing that on a video, so I got a fan brush and it has really helped me do my sprinkles better. Now that I got my background to look like sand, I'm going to go ahead and stencil some shells on my sand. And I'm using a stencil from Newton's Nook called Seashells. I don't know if they sell this anymore, if it's been discontinued. If it's still at the store, I'll put a link. It won't be a affiliate link because I don't have an affiliation with them, but I do like the stencil. And then I'm going to use some stencil paste, and this is from Lawn Fawn, and it's their Lawn Fundamental Stencil Paste, which is pearl. I thought pearl would be really good because, a lot of seashells have a pearl type look to them. Then I'm also using some distress ink, and I'm using weathered wood. One of the pieces of paper that I'm going to be using has kind of shells that have a blue look to them, but also some grays and browns and of course a pearl look. So I'm trying to mix this in to give it a little bit of a blue look, but not mix it all the way because I want some of it to be white and some of it to be kind of blue. So I don't know if I really accomplished that, but I do like how the end result is. Now, of course, with the stenciling and the ink blending, I've speeded it up quite a bit so that you're not here watching me do this for quite a long time. Since I'm done splattering and my stencil paste has dried, I went ahead and removed my tape, and now I'm going to do some ink blending. And if you see the picture above, that's what I'm kind of using as my inspiration piece. I wanted the background of where all the paper and the triangle parts will be sky. So I'm starting on the bottom with darker blues, and I want to move up to lighter blues and also have pinks. So in this area, I'm using two different blues because I wanted it to have kind of a mottled look, so it's not just one shade of blue. So I'm starting with Salty Ocean, and then I go through with Faded Jeans, which is a darker blue. And also, I noticed some of my pencil lines were still there before I was marking off where the paper wouldn't cover. So I have that all drawn on here so I know where to put my ink blending. I just turn my paper around so that I can reach the top of the paper better, and I'm going to be inking the top of the sky, which I want to be lighter. I start with weathered wood because that's the lightest color, although it has a little bit of darkness to it because it looks more like a stormy type sky. So I just do a little bit of that in the background, and then I mostly go over it with Salty Ocean, which is a brighter blue. And I like doing that so that way I have a couple shades of blue mixed together, because the sky isn't just one solid color. You see different variations. Next, I'm doing the middle of the page, which is going to be the middle of my sky. And in the photo, you could have seen that there was kind of a pinkish purple color, so I'm going to use my pink inks here. I start off with spun sugar, but it's very light and it's hard to see. I kind of taped over my stencil because I wasn't sure if the pink would go into that. But then I find out that it kind of leaves a white edge there where it's not getting up right against the brown ink in the stencil. So then I take it off. And I also switched to Kitsch Flamingo because the spun sugar is such a light pink that it's really not showing up. And then I go over a little bit more with my Salty Ocean so I can kind of blend it in. Because if you look at a sky with the pink, there's usually different streaks of the actual cloud that looks blue or white. Next, I'm going to add my papers that I already cut out in triangles. And both of these papers come from the Mintay Seaside Collection. And I'll be putting those down with my Scotch ATG gun. Now, this is the first time that I've ever gotten Mintay paper. Their papers, I think, are generally a little bit more expensive, but they are very thick and very high quality. And I do hope I can get some more because I also have some South Carolina pictures to do. Now, I already mounted all my pictures and kind of trimmed them down. They're not quite a kind of a tall, skinny rectangle, but they're close to what's in the sketch. I like to use bigger pictures and also more of them because I tend to take a lot of vacation photos, so I need to get a lot on my pages, or I would have like 600 pages per photo album probably. And I just mounted these on some really dark navy blue paper, and I'm using photo squares to mount them onto my page. Now, later I found out they weren't sticking too well, so then I added some glue to the back of my photos. And that's where the stencil paste is. It was hard for the tape to really adhere to that. So a lot of times if you use stencil paste or anything that has texture to it, your liquid glue will be the best thing to use. You just want to make sure you're using an acid-free glue. So next I'm going to go ahead and add my title, which is Hampton Beach, and I just decided to use these kind of navy blue stickers. I was looking at those kind of light brown ones, but I decided the navy blue looked best with the layout. And the great thing with this layout is that the word goes right on top of the triangle, so you already have a line to try to line them up. Although I won't doubt that some of my letters are still crooked. Then I do my journaling on the wood look paper that is from Mintay, also from the Seaside Collection. And I put that because I thought it reminded me of the boardwalk because it looks like wooden planks. Also thought it might be easier to write on with it being a white color. However, it does have a bumpy texture, so it does make it a little difficult for writing, but also my pen is quite old. It's over 20 years old. So these micron pens really do last. And I'm just using a kind of a blue, it's more of a royal blue type color for the micron pen. So I'm just writing about how we arrived at our hotel, checked in, and then we went to Hampton Beach, and it was kind of crowded for the parking. And then we walked along where the town was, where they had their tourist junkie type shops with a lot of fast food, fried food that we did not eat at. We went to a sit-down restaurant and had clam chowder and fish tacos, or maybe it was shrimp tacos, I don't remember. But that'll be another scrapbook page. I did start getting cramps in my hands, so then I switched to doing my decoration and then go back to writing on my journaling. For the decorations, and you can see in the sketch there's like butterflies, so I don't know if those are stickers or whatever. I kind of used all these laser cut images from Mintay, and it's from the Seaside Collection also, so of course they'll go along. I kind of wanted to use the flowers because that's how they have it in the photo, is flowers and butterflies. So I thought the flowers looked nice, but only one set was really small enough to go with my pictures. Otherwise they look kind of big, and plus they covered up the people, so I didn't want to use those. So I ended up mostly using boats, kind of a rowboats and sailboats, and then along one side I used kind of a, I don't know what you call them, but the logs that stick up, or I guess you tie your boats to. I don't know if those have a name, but anyway, I put those on there. And of course I'm speeding this up quite a bit because otherwise you'll see me doing this for quite a long time, deciding which piece of ephemera to put where. And I'm just using my Nuvo Deluxe glue to adhere everything to my page. And then I finish my journaling. As I mentioned earlier, this is part of a hop, so I'll put a list of all the participants in the description below. You can follow along to the next person, and you'll get more inspiration of how to use mixed media in your scrapbook layouts. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you're not already a subscriber, I'd really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. Also, I'll put a list of all the products that I use in the description below. Some of these will be affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra to use, but I do get a small commission from any sales that those links generate. And that helps support my channel. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.